So here we are, another politically correct foray into inanity. And D-Bag Brian Williams, P.S. PMSNBC, the lying reporter who weaseled his way back into a reporter job on television. This is the guy who lied about everything. You know, he was there when Moses split the rock and parted the Red Sea. He was in Vietnam. He stormed the beaches at Normandy. This pathological liar bullshit artist. And he's going to school us up on the political correct reasons why the Cleveland Indians have changed their name to the most ridiculous name, the Guardians. You try to chant that out loud. Say it out loud. Let's go, Guardians. Yeah, that doesn't sound too retarded. Retarded literally means mentally slow, deficient. It is not an affront or a pejorative. If you've played music, you'll see either tempo or retard. Speed up, slow down. But we can't say words anymore. Like, he's black, he's white, right? He's Caucasian, he's Negroid. All of a sudden, one became a pejorative. And by the way, the term Negro is Spanish for black. You can't call me a Negro, but you can call me black. You imagine the lunacy of this? The lunacy of this. Now, the N-word is a terrible thing. That's a pejorative. But Negro, like Caucasian or white guy, just refers to the color of your skin, and it is not an affront or a pejorative, unless you're too stupid to understand language. But see, liberals are stupid. But they're also devious and manipulative, so to further paint individualism into corners, they start changing the meaning of the lexicon, right? So the word propaganda, which is the road you take to go see the Pope, the via propaganda, which came as a Christian term for spreading the seed, as in propagate, to sow the seed of the gospel. It is a holy word that they co-opted and turned into a political pejorative, right? First, it was a political tool. They stole from religion, and now they turn it into a pejorative. But most people don't understand language, so they don't comprehend any of this. So getting back to the point of little Mr. Mendacity here, who takes a shot at Donald Trump, because Donald Trump once again sticks to the roots of Americanism.
Bridge that crosses the Cuyahoga River and is really the gateway to the stadium. Right on cue, Donald Trump branded the name change a disgrace and said, quote, "The people who are most angry about it are the many Indians of our country." So Tom Hanks it is, and look at the time. That is our broadcast for this Friday night and for this week. Thank you for being here with us.
Little lion weasel Brian Williams, see, taking a shot at Trump because he calls a spade, right? He calls a tree. And American Indians need not be ashamed that they've been called American Indians. Matters of fact, let me give you a peg point here. The New York Yankees owe their name to the word Angie, which was how the Iroquois and Huron said English, because in the language of the American Indian, certain sounds don't transfer. Okay? So they couldn't say words like English. They didn't say French. They said Franquais. Anglais and Franquais. Enge. The English Americans, with their English accents, imitating the way the Indians said Angie, that word became Yankee. And those woodland Indians, mostly in upstate New York and New England, that said Angie, is the reason why we have the New York Yankees. Why don't we make the Yankees change their name? Because that offends the sensibilities of the American people, Indians who couldn't pronounce the word properly. Or how about the English people who didn't want their name butchered? I'm a Spartan Greek. Do I sue Michigan State and demand that they don't call themselves Spartans because it affronts me? Especially that they wear green and white like they're leprechauns from Ireland, when the most famous things about Sparta, or at least one of them, was their crimson capes and crimson crowns on their helmets made of horsehair. So making them wear green is absurd, and it offends me. Right? I mean, when do we stop this? When are we going to stop this? Where does it end? So, in words, do they invest their lying logic? Not in deeds. Not in deeds. I'd like to take Tom Hanks and Brian Williams and send them back to the Monongahela River in the 1700s, when their families were butchered by Native Americans, if that made them feel better that they were called Native Americans, because they weren't the friendliest people in the world in all places. And they weren't ecologically or environmentally friendly. Read about the buffalo runs where they chase 50,000 head of buffalo off a cliff to eat 10 of them. So all this BS that one race is superior intrinsically. I'm going to tell you the most superior race that ever walked the earth. It's the white European race. If that offends you, it's too bad. But all you got to do is know history. Every technological invention, every progress and foray into science and math came from white men. If that bothers you, go write a new history book. Okay? If it bothers you to know the truth, that all the great minds that came out of Europe and invented all the great things regarding their deficiencies and failings for world wars and everything else. But where would this world be if it wasn't for white European men? You want to live in a teepee? You want to wear a loincloth and run down buffalo with a spear? Go ahead. Most of you wibs without a house on wheels couldn't camp in the woods for a day. Every single thing that's reality today is owed in comfort and civility to white European men. But we're not supposed to say that. That's racist, but it happens to be true, but that doesn't matter. There wasn't any electricity in Africa, or Australia, or America, until white European men came and developed it. I'm not apologizing. But at the same time, I can celebrate the nobility of the good American Indians. And there were millions of noble American Indians. And calling them anything but that is an affront to my intellect. Because whether you're talking about Sitting Bull or Geronimo or Tecumseh, they didn't care what you called them. They wanted their way of life protected and insured. And they wanted their place in the sun. And the devious bastards in government then, like the devious bastards in government today that lied to them, okay, and disenfranchised them, didn't represent the American people or the white people that came from Europe. They were deviant government bastards, same as it always was, same as today. So don't knock my race because of a few political liars like this guy, Brian Williams. Because he's a mouthpiece for these Joe Bidens. And they hate Donald Trump because he ain't one of them. And every chance they get, they take a shot at him because he holds up a mirror to their mendacity, and their inanity and their stupidity, and they hate it. What did this little putz ever invent? What did he ever build, little pretty boy Brian Williams? Nothing is the answer. He learned how to read a teleprompter and sound authoritative, like Ted Knight on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But vapid, empty suit doesn't even begin to describe what a lunatic psychopath this guy is, because he believes his own bullshit. We have to do away with this bogus media in this country and not transfer it over to the Zuck bombs of Facebook and the dirtbags at YouTube that want to ram this politically correct nonsense down our throats, because they're even more dangerous and they are more insidious. We need to come up with as many different forms of media, podcasts, independent of judgment and immune to the censorship of the scumbags like Zuckerberg and the D-bags that run YouTube and Google. These people are dangerous. All Nazis, all tyrants, all communists start with ideas. And when they attack words, it's only a matter of time before they attack people. They slaughter words and lexicon, they're going to slaughter people. Just read about the history of Bolshevism or Nazism. The first thing they do is anoint propaganda ministers, like this douchebag, who never did an honest day's work in his life, this douchebag, Brian Williams. And every one of these people like them. The Rachel Maddows. They hate individuals. They tell you they love humanity. Bullshit. They hate humanity. The Faucis, the know-it-alls, the Barrag Bidens, they know everything. They've never produced anything, they've never built anything, but don't they know how to lie, cheat, and steal? Now Hunter Biden is the next coming of Picasso. And this douchebag bought one of the paintings for $500,000. That ought to make you very uneasy out there. That's it.